Have you ever won an argument with a narcissist? Chances are you probably haven't, or chances you walked away from an argument feeling completely confused, feeling completely lost of like, what did we even just talk about? I brought up this one subject and it went through a million different subjects and I never even got an answer. I never even got the satisfaction of knowing, hey, they understood, or I was understood, or anything like that. You see, a lot of times when you're fighting with a narcissist, or when you're going through that problem, and a narcissist gets to the place where they realize that they can't break your logic, then they go ahead and demolish your character. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness, growth, healing, and change. We do it on all the different platforms out there. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, just to be able to try to help spread awareness of what narcissism actually is. So many people think that a narcissist is just the person like snapping selfies of themselves, when in reality, there's a lot more to it. And it's a lot more destructive in nature than just someone who has a high ego. And we want to try to bring that awareness to people. Maybe you can't watch it on video and you want to listen to it. We've got Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Spotify, so check it out there. If you want to hear from the wife's perspective, we recently have done a podcast together, and it's called Trauma, Drama, and Life. You can get it on Apple Podcasts, and it's a way to be able to see a little bit into our lives, a little bit into some of the stuff that we've gone through, a little bit of, hey, counseling with a narcissist, why you don't want to do it, like different things like that we can give you actual examples of things that we've gone through and the things that we've experienced together. If you want to talk to me one-on-one, would love to interact with you, would love to be able to help break the trauma bond, rewire your mindset, get you through the limbo land of like, where do I go from here, and how to set boundaries. Just go to rawmotivations.com, click on the one-on-ones. Would love to be able to help you out in your journey forward in healing. Also, you need to have a community. If you don't have a community of like-minded people around you to help you on that journey or that understand, then we need to get you into the NARC app. It's Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Community, NARCAPP, narcapp.com. Go check it out there. Courses, people on there that can be able to give you advice, give you encouragement, track your no contact, write stuff down in a journal that's in there, weekly lives to be able to answer questions and inspire you moving forward, and monthly coaching calls where we bring in coaches from across the globe to try to help you progress forward in your healing journey. So feel free to check that out. Well, what we're going to talk about today is the idea of fighting with a narcissist and how that actually goes down. I know a lot of people know and understand already that fighting with a narcissist can be pretty awful because they fight dirty. There's not really a healthy fight with a narcissist or a good interaction with a narcissist because they'll fight dirty and they'll change up the rules on you, making you think you have to act and be a certain way, and then they'll flip it. Well, a lot of times narcissists, when they fight dirty and they get into a giant argument with you, they're going to try to distract you. They distract you a lot of times with putting the blame on you. They distract you a lot of times with raging out on you. But they also distract you with future faking, promising you that something's going to happen so you avoid what's actually happening in the moment. Sometimes it's love bombing, spending more time together, giving you gifts, whatever it might be, to try to distract you from your original argument or the original question that you had that they want to avoid. A lot of times narcissists do anything they can to distract you from the actual argument at hand. Other times they distort your reality by gaslighting you, by making you think something actually isn't real when it is, or whatever it might be. So it'd be like the idea of like, hey, like the phone that I have is a red phone. No, it's not. It's a blue phone. What are you talking about? No, like it's a red phone. That's the idea with gaslighting, is denying the reality that you already experience and then taking it a step further of like, you must be a little crazy because that is definitely a blue phone. You might want to get your eyesight checked out. Okay, gaslighting is taking it even to a step higher than just like, no, it's not that. A lot of times what will happen with that in an argument is the narcissist will sometimes just completely gaslight you to make you feel crazy, or they'll flip at the very end. That's a lot of times what I would do in my relationship with my wife. Is we'd be arguing about something. So we'd be arguing about like, hey, this is a red phone. I'd be like, no, it's not. It's a blue phone. Are you crazy? And we go through this giant argument, normal narcissistic argument, 30 minutes to 3 hours. We go through a normal like argument and get to the place. She'd be like, I can't believe that you just won't admit that it's a red phone. I'd be like, yeah, it's a red phone. She'd be like, what? I'd be like, that's what I said. And it goes back to that whole idea of like gaslighting in the moment, of like convincing the other person of like, no, like I was just teasing you. I was just messing with you. I was just seeing if you actually believe that. I was playing devil's advocate. All those different types of things pop up a lot of times in narcissistic relationships, making people think that they are crazy because of what they're experiencing. A lot of times that would be my go-to in a lot of arguments of flipping it. And the reason why the flip happens is to be able to justify that what I'm saying isn't true. So if we're talking about the phone and I'm saying it's a blue phone and Kayla's saying that it's a red phone, and I get to the place where I'm like, it's a red phone, and she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. In my mind, I have flipped the conversation so that I'm actually saying the right thing and then justifying that I'm actually right. Now, I know in saying that, a lot of people are like, that doesn't even make sense. And it's not supposed to make sense. It makes sense in the narcissist brain. I'm just trying to like break it down for you. But that's a lot of times how it works, of sometimes flipping the thing so that they can be justified in what they're saying because they know they're actually wrong. Well, that's the thing that leads into the aspect that narcissists don't admit they're wrong. I mean, when's the last time you heard a narcissist say they're wrong? Typically, they won't. Or if they do, it's a way to manipulate something else. Typically, a narcissist won't admit they're wrong because that activates guilt and shame. And a narcissist doesn't want to feel guilt and shame. A lot of narcissism is shame avoidance. Let me get away from it. Let me avoid shame at all costs. Even if it hurts someone else, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that the narcissist avoids the shame and the guilt. So as a result, they don't admit when they're actually wrong. In our marriage, and throughout pretty much the majority of the marriage initially on, I would never admit that I was wrong. In fact, the words wouldn't even come out of my mouth. It was like impossible to even speak is what it seemed like. But I would never be able to say I was wrong. Well, if the problem gets to the place where it's undeniable, so the argument is undeniable of like, this actually is a red phone. Like there's no other way to be able to say it. Like it actually is a red phone. And the gaslighting doesn't work to be able to fix the problem, then sometimes they'll flip it, okay? Or sometimes they'll like confuse you and make you feel like you're actually crazy. When we talk about gaslighting, give you an example. I had a couple that I was working with, and they actually had an argument in the kitchen, and they had cameras up and stuff like that, I guess because of kids or whatever, but the husband said one thing, and the wife was like, I can't believe you just said that to me. And he was like, I didn't say that. And so she like pulled up the iPad, played back the video, played the audio so she could hear it. And he was like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. And so much so it convinced her that she was crazy until she took that to other people and played it and was like, what do you hear? Because I don't think I can trust myself to hear what is actually going on because they said that wasn't them. It's crazy, but that's how it goes. All right. Sometimes what happens is a narcissist will get into a place where they're arguing about something and then they bring up something completely different. I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with this. Like you're arguing about one singular thing and you're trying to stay on topic with this, and they're bringing in all these other topics. You know, about what you did last week, about how you're such an awful person, about how you cheated with another person before you met the narcissist, everything. And sometimes it's the tactic called the straw man tactic, where it's the idea of let me bring up another argument that's easy to defeat because I can't defeat the one that I'm actually going up against right now. So like, yes, it's a red phone. I realize it's a red phone. So let me bring up, you know, that you have a messy room. Let me bring up that you cheated on me. Let me bring up that you're disrespectful. Let me bring up all these other things of like, let me bring something else up that I can either destroy or that I can use to leverage us away from the fact that I'm wrong. What happens when they're actually wrong in an argument? Like when they get to the place where there's no other way out of it, what happens when they're actually wrong? Well, then we start stepping into the idea of demolishing another person's character. So think of the example 2 + 2 = 4. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, now if we're in the middle of an argument, so me as the narcissist, I'd be like 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4, it equals 5. What are you talking about? Okay, so already kind of like back and forth argument. But when the narcissist realizes, wait a second, 2 + 2 actually equals 4, I'm stuck in this, let me go work on demolishing the other person. So then we bring up other stuff that we've been holding on for a while of like you slept with someone, accusing you of something, like everything. But the whole idea is like, let me attack your character. Now here's the part that's hard for a lot of people to understand because it doesn't really make sense, but it makes sense in the narcissist's head. If you say 2 + 2 = 4, and that's right, which it is, and that's right, and the narcissist is arguing against that, they're not able to defeat you out of logic, so then they have to go underneath and defeat your character. And if they do that, in the narcissist's mind, once I've defeated your character, your logic no longer stands. Narcissists think that if they demolish you and your character, then the argument doesn't stand a chance and that they aren't wrong. I know it doesn't really make a lot of sense. It doesn't make logical sense because you're like 2 + 2 = 4 no matter what. No matter if the person's a good person or a bad person, 2 + 2 = 4. But in the narcissist head, I've got to be able to twist it around so that one, I'm not wrong. I avoid shame and guilt. I'm not wrong. And I win the argument so that I'm not wrong. Like it has to go through that whole situation. And so if I get to the place where I realize your logic's going to win over me, then I have to start putting in digs about you, about your character, about what you do, how you act, how you talk, how you respect, how you love, anything like that. Because once in the narcissist mind, once that part is demolished, then it's like, see, like you don't even know what you're talking about. Like you cheated on me 5 years ago, so like you don't even know what 2 + 2 is. Like that is, I'm trying to make it kind of like an excessive like idea of like, holy cow, like that's kind of crazy, because that's literally what's happening a lot of times in your relationship. You just don't realize it because we don't put the same exact examples. But the biggest thing for you to understand is like when you're getting to a place and you realize, wait a second, they can't beat this because it's based on logic, just know they're going to come after your character. They're going to come after you. They're going to try to do all the little things to trigger you, to demolish you, because they think that that's going to demolish the argument. If you're going through this, need you to understand, you're not alone. There's a lot of other people going through this, a lot of other people in the comments, a lot of other people across the planet that are dealing with this. You're not crazy, okay? That's why I'm trying to break it down so you understand. You're not hopeless. There's a way out, but you need to reach out for help.